Hello, and welcome back to the Basement Gun Shop. So, what's on the agenda for today? Reloading. Why? I think it's a good place to start. A couple months ago, a very good friend of mine started asking me questions about reloading. He was just confused, didn't know where he needed to go, didn't know what he needed to start, didn't know how to do it. And there's really not that much information out there that gets you started. And I was kind of shocked. Reloading manuals are written for the person who already knows what they're doing. So I figured I was going to eventually do something like this. So let's get down to it. So what questions do I need to answer? I need to answer, what do you need to start? Because that's it. Your big expense. You're going to be buying all this stuff up front. A lot of people think that you're going to save money by reloading. You don't save any money. You just shoot more. Because let's face it, when you can manufacture 300 rounds of, say, 9mm for the cost of 100, when you go to the range, guess what? You're at the range and it just works out that way. You shoot more because you can. So, don't think you're going to save money, but you are going to get more for your money. So I guess in a way that's saving. Whatever. This equipment that's laying all over my bench here is basically what I've accumulated. I've been reloading for about 25 years. I started when I was 24, 25, and right now I'm 48. So I've got a good bit of experience under my belt with reloading. I will caution you, when you're just starting out, avoid the internet. And what I mean by that is, don't go to forums and ask for load recipes. Anybody can purport to be whatever they want on the internet. And if a guy tells you, I use 60 grains of this powder under this bullet head and this brass for this caliber in this gun, and you have the same gun and you use that, without checking against the manufacturer's load data or a reputable reloading manual, you could turn your handgun into a hand grenade. In 20 plus years of reloading, I have never turned any of my handguns into hand grenades. I've never damaged a firearm or a person or myself, another person or myself with a reload. Safety is the name of the game. Anytime you're dealing with anything with guns, safety is the name of the game. You learn the basics first. It's no different than shooting. You learn the basics of gun safety, you learn the basics of trigger control, breath control, sight picture. You'll learn the basics of reloading, and you learn them safely. So let's get down to it. What's all this stuff clustered around my bench? Well, right here we have two different reloading manuals. We have a Hornady 4th edition set and a Nosler 6th edition set. There are other sources of information. For example, the Hodgdon website. Hodgdon is a powder manufacturer. They will give you all their load data and email it right to you. Again, a reputable resource. Accurate Arms, another powder manufacturer, they put out a PDF on their website with their load data. You're going to the powder manufacturer. All these books, all this data is written for guns that are in serviceable condition. So if you have a gun that's 150 years old and you're thinking, I wonder if this will work with this Max Plus P load, don't do it. Common sense, okay? And safety. You never load the Max right off the bat. You work up to it. And we'll get to that in a later session, simply because there's a lot of stuff to cover right here. So, reloading manuals, or the manufacturers, the powder manufacturers' data. That'll get you started. This will give you the recipes, and this will also give you, reloading manuals will also give you the case sizes, because brass stretches when you shoot it. And you have to fix that. So how do you fix stretched brass? Well, you get yourself a case trimmer right here. This is a Lyman. It's not my function here to say Lyman is better than RCBS, RCBS is better than Dillon, Dillon's better than Lee, Lee is better than Lyman, and get into that whole vicious circle. No, I'm not going there. I have Lyman equipment, I have Hornady equipment, I have MTM K-Start, I have RCBS, I have Lee. So I've got a whole mix of equipment. So you're going to need a way to trim your cases. You're also going to need a way to check to see if your cases need to be trimmed. If you're doing them in bulk, here's a quick little guard or a quick little guide made by Lyman. It's aluminum. You just take a case, and I don't seem to have one laying. Oh, here's one. It's a 45 case, and here's 45 ACP, and you put it right in there, and it fits. If it fits, you're good. If it fits in the slot, you're good. Your case is under max length. Another way to check your case length is a set of digital calipers. I picked these up. I think I picked these up at Harbor Freight for like 14 bucks. I have another set that I paid like $60 for. I've got a set that's even more expensive than that hooks up to my laptop. It depends on what you want to go, but you don't need to spend like 160 bucks on a set of calipers. A $14.95 from Harbor Freight will work just fine as long as they're accurate. And that's just it. They need to be accurate. Beyond that, you're going to need a scale to measure your powder charges because we set a powder charge by weight. So here's a Lyman 500 beam scale. Here's a little Hornady electronic scale. They were roughly about the same price. So again, it's up to you which route you want to go. The difference being, this requires batteries, this doesn't. So there you go. Once you have your powder weight measured, it's going to require your loading process is going to require some kind of method to charge the case. Once you figure out which way you want to go, there's two ways you can do that. You can buy a powder trickler and trickle the charge individually into the pan and say, okay, there's 15 grains. Take the pan, dump it in the case, trickle again. Powder tricklers run anywhere from 15 to 35, 40 bucks. Or what I have here is an RCBS Uniflow powder measurer. Big old powder reservoir on top. Dump your powder in there. Set your charge weight here. Drop a charge in the pan on the scale. Measure it. Make sure it's correct. Lock that setting into place. And then you just have all your cases in the case block. And just go right down the line. 1, 2, 3, 4. And move case to case to case. One shot in each case. Again, that's an RCBS. Lyman makes one. I used a Lyman for years. I finally wore it out. And I, quite frankly, I will admit that I let it get rusted. So that's why it wore out. And it wasn't throwing uniform charges anymore. And that's the name of the game when you're dropping a powder charge into a case. You're going to need a way to prime the case. This is a Lee Auto Prime XR. It is a hand priming tool. You dump your primers in there. You put your shell holder in. One case at a time. Pick up the case. Put it in there. Squeeze the handle. Boom. It primes the case. Put the next one in. Go right down the line. Lee makes one. Hornady, Lyman, RCBS. Everybody makes one. And it's up to you which one you want to buy. Most reloading presses come with an arm where you can put the primer in one at a time, and when you're working with the brass in your press, you can prime on the downstroke. The drawback to them is you could crater the primer, or you could actually detonate one, which I have done. And that is a wake-up call when you're coming down and you come down too hard or too fast and you seat that primer too hard and it detonates right here in front of your face, which is another reason you always wear safety glasses when you're reloading. Let's face it, boys and girls, you're playing with explosives. Safety's the name of the game. Beyond that, if you're reloading rifle, you're going to need a way to lube the cases so you can resize them. There's an RCBS lube pad and RCBS case lube. a set of reloading dies. These dies happen to be pistol dies. It's a 3-die set. These are for 40 Smith & Wesson or 10 millimeter. 3-die set, and there's 2 dies in the box. Because the third die is right here in my press. This is a Lyman Orange crusher. It's an O-frame press, single stage. There's a die in there because I was reloading some 10 millimeter yesterday. Didn't put the stuff away because it got into the night, and then I decided I was gonna create the Basement Gun Shop, and I did episode number 1 and got tied up with that, and then it was late, and I just went to bed. So you're gonna need a way to clean your cases. Cases get dirty when you're shooting. There's 2 ways you can do it. This is a quick and easy case tumbler made by Frankfurt Arsenal. I think I paid like $50 for it, and another 20 for the media. Media being ground corn cob. Or you can chemical clean your cases. This is a product called Quick Bright. You can search all this stuff on the internet, find it, buy it in bulk, buy it however you want. With this, you just put the cases in a plastic cup, dump some of this on top, let it sit for 2 minutes, pour the stuff back in. I've been using this for years. This stuff is really good. So, there are a couple other things we need to go about when you trim your cases. Wait, my bad, let me back up. When you buy reloading dies, or you buy a priming tool, the shell holders are sold separately. This is a number 15 shell holder for 40 Smith & Wesson and 10 millimeter. If you don't buy the shell holder, you can't use anything. The shell holder fits on top of the ram in the press and holds the case. Slide the case in there, ram it home, take that out, go to the next one. They're sold separately. Some shell holders will fit multiple calibers. For example, 45 ACP shell holder fits 308 Winchester or 7.62 NATO, whatever designator you want to put on it. So make sure you get the right shell holder for the right caliber that you want to reload. Okay? When your brass stretches, I mentioned way earlier that you have to trim it. Case trimmer. Well, guess what? That leaves burrs on the case. So you're going to need a way to clean up the cases. This is a Lyman chamfer deburr tool. It's manual, obviously. You pick up the case, stick it on there, give it a twist. That does the outside deburring, and that V-shape does an inside chamfer. So you just stick that in the case neck, give it a twist, and it shaves the burrs and shaves some brass and leaves a nice little finish on the end of your case. Drawback with that is that you have to do each one individually. Pick it up, do the inside, turn the tool around, do the outside, go to the next one, yada, yada, yada. Or you can just break down like I did and spend some serious money on the Lyman case prep station. I don't remember what I paid for this. I want to say like $150, but I could be wrong. This comes with 5 motorized heads, low speed, high torque. It comes with tools for both large and small primers. It comes with an outside deburr tool, inside chamfer, and what is it? 4 case neck brushes, a paintbrush to clean it up, some mica to lube, and storage on the side here for the tools. Simply plug it in, turn it on. Like I said, high speed, low torque motor. You can cut the primer pocket, you can scrape the primer pocket. There's also a reamer uniformer for each size. Then you just flip the case over, do the inside, do the outside, and if you want, you can scrub any leftover dust from cleaning right out of the case simply by going down over top of it like that. This cuts your case prep time exponentially. Truthfully, you can do all the case prep you need to do in probably 1/5 the time of just using the manual chamfer and deburr tool. So now let's answer the big question. What do I absolutely need to get started? If you're reloading pistol, Obviously, I'm just checking the light on the camera to make sure it's still recording. Obviously, if you're reloading pistol, you need a press, die, shell holder, scale, or trickler or powder measure, a loading block. You need calibers to check your overall case length. And overall case length is something we'll explain in the next, but that's the case plus the bullet when the bullet is seated in crimp. Sorry about that edit. Batteries ran dead, so I had to go change them out quick. So that's basically what you need for pistol reloading. For rifle reloading, it's the same thing with the exception of you're going to have to add some more equipment. So for rifle, it's the press, dies, shell holder, priming tool, shell holder, powder measure, trickler, scale, case trimmer, chamfer deburring tool. If you're going to be loading a lot of 5.56 that has the military crimp that I talked about earlier on the primer pocket, you can buy an individual tool, a little hand tool, to cut that primer pocket. So that's an added expense. Honestly, I don't know what that's going to cost you because I don't own one. I just started buying the case prep, and I just bought the case prep station because I was tired of the chamfer and deburr. And then when I started with crimped pockets, I already had the tool to do it. So that's pretty much what you're going to need to get started. There's one other thing I want to talk about right now, and it's what happens when you're loading and you make a mistake. Ta-da! This is a kinetic bullet puller. It's made by Midway. Again, everybody makes one. Midway, Lyman Lee, RCBS, Dillon, da-da-da-da-da-da. Everybody makes one. The way it works, it comes with a set of collets. The collets are for 3 different sizes of cases. The collet locks into the case head. You drop the whole thing in there, just like that. Spin this down on top of it, and whack it real hard off of a block of wood or something that you don't care about damaging. What happens is the inertia of the bullet will pull itself out of the crimp because the case, the powder charge, everything stops, and the inertia of the pieces that can keep moving do, and boom. So now you've got a case with a good primer in it, you've got the powder charge and the bullet laying in the bottom, you unscrew it, and you've saved everything that needs to be saved, and what needs to be gotten rid of, you can get rid of it. If the bullet's damaged, if the case is damaged, you think you have too much powder, whatever. The fact of the matter is, you're not throwing away a completed round. So this is a pretty handy tool to have for when you make a mistake. And I guarantee you, you will make mistakes. That's why you check and recheck everything. And if one happens to slip by, this is pretty much your last resort. So that's my reloading bench as it sits. Tune in next time. We will be starting with how to set up a press for reloading. We'll be looking at the manuals, the information you get out of them, and basically step by step my process going through to reload some pistol ammunition. As always, if there's something you want to see, any questions you have, drop something in the comments, and I will be more than happy to answer your question, point you in the right direction, show you the resources or where the information's at that you can get a hold of it. Until next time, thanks for watching. This is Jim from the Basement Gun Shop, and have a good day.